Okay, let's take a look at a scatter plot and decide if an outlier is going to affect R and how it will affect R, if at all. So in this scatter plot, things that affect R. So here's our pattern, and this point is an outlier that does not fit the pattern. So basically, any point that creates more space between the bulk of the data and where it is going to be an outlier. So we can always also remember it would have a pretty large residual. It's going to cause a change in the slope, the y-intercept of your line. It's going to switch up the correlation coefficient or your R value too. So in this case, since this one, this is where our pattern is, this has a large residual. It's very disconnected from our pattern. This outlier would cause R to decrease. Now, if I added a different point, like a high leverage point with a small residual, so not far away from my line, here R would increase. My relationship would get stronger because this fits the pattern. It's a high leverage point, but it does still fit the pattern, so it will increase the strength of my relationship. Now, other things that affect R, or maybe don't, are essentially where you put things on the X and Y axis. So R is all about the spacing of your points and how close together they are, how far apart they are, and kind of that number value. We assign a number value to it in terms of that strength. So if I switch these two things, if I put foot size on the X and height on the Y, that's not going to affect my R value because, again, R is all about the spacing of the dots. So if I switch those, the dots aren't going to be any further apart because it's still the same data values, just reorientated on the other axes. The other thing that some people think will affect R, notice R has always just been a number. It's not affected by units. So if, let's say this is inches and I changed it to like centimeters, my point, as long as I do it to every single point and convert everything appropriately, the spacing between my points, since I would convert everyone the same way, is again not going to change. So changing units, there's no change in R. If I switch things, there's no change. So it's all about the spacing kind of between your points from each other. And as long as that spacing's not changing, R won't change. If it's changing but in a way that fits the pattern, it'll make it stronger. If it's changing in a way that doesn't fit the pattern, it will make it weaker.